Ghislaine Maxwell is in the same correctional facility, Metropolitan Detention Centre in New York, as Jeffrey Epstein died in. And what was interesting, George, is that even though she's banged up, she's still getting preferential treatment. We hear this weekend that Maxwell is the first person to get a visit from a lawyer after this COVID period is through. So that just shows you that even when she's in prison, she's still subject to preferential treatment. And you're absolutely right. The reason that I took an interest in Epstein and Maxwell in the first place is because I was primarily interested in paedophiles within the British establishment. But the fact is that Epstein's operation, as you so correctly said, was an international operation. And wherever I turned, I couldn't ignore him. He was just constantly there, always tied up with somebody that I was investigating on this side of the pond. So obviously, Maxwell, we're waiting to hear what's going to happen. She's, waiting her trial for sex trafficking, faces up to 35 years. I would be highly surprised if she even got to trial. Don't forget, she's still got great friends in the media. She's being portrayed to a certain degree now as a victim of Epstein, as if she was some sort of wronged woman, as if she was manipulated by him as well as everybody else. And of course, I don't know the truth, and these are all allegations. She is waiting trial. But the fact is, there is substantial information to suggest that they were partners in crime. And obviously, what we've seen recently, we've seen the files which have come out to do with Virginia Giuffre's 2015 defamation lawsuit. And that was very enlightening as well, not least because of the information that was redacted, which made me and others think, oh, this is part of another cover-up again. But there was a contradiction. And one of the most glaring things that stood out about those files, for example, was this contradiction that Maxwell was insistent that the last time she'd had any dealings at all with Epstein was at least a decade ago. And then, of course, in these files, there was an email or emails between Epstein and Maxwell in which he was telling her, act as if you've done nothing wrong because you haven't, hold your head high, walk out in the street, and all this sort of stuff. And so obviously that was only 5 years ago, not the decade ago that Maxwell wanted us to believe.